Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Let's rapid fire with this one. We're going to go for some holds, okay? So the guys that you shouldn't be trading out of your team this week in round 5. We're just going to have a look at some of the percentages here of the who's hot, who's not. And on our not side, Tex Hoy at negative 3.9%, so teams are trading him out. Completely fair enough on that one. Tupeneur Blake off an 18. If he's looking like he's going to be playing, you know, even if he's out for the week, then I don't think he's a trade out. Yeah, that's a very reactionary trade, that one. Same with a few others here, like, you know, Cody Walker's been scoring, you know, fairly well. He's scoring a bunch of tries, obviously, to do well, but I think he's definitely a hold at this point. Colin Mutang out for 2 weeks. It looks like he's probably not going to be the cash cow that people wanted, so he can be traded out. That's completely fine. Same with Sirenen. He's not named this week. Tupeneur, again, coming off a low score, he's going to be scoring well and fine. Carrigan out for a couple of weeks. I can see why people are trading him out, just with his couple of random lower scores there. Fogg's there, negative 8.8%. Again, should be fine this week and won't be scoring that low again. Herbie Farmworth again is another one I'm thinking that is a bit silly to be trading out. But again, anything under 1% is not going to be silly there. And let's look at the reactionary trades. Who's hot? Walker Pappenhausen, that's fine. Tupeneur, 2.9%. Again, they're picking him off his 60 score and his negative break even. All right, but anyway, that's those guys. Let's get into a few of the guys that I think are definitely holds this week. So Jacob Little at 470k. He's still got at least 100k to make at this stage. So once this loads, he's someone that's averaging 48.5 this year, and an average like that puts him up just under 700k. So if you can hold that over the next bunch of weeks, then that's where he's going to end up. Okay, so please don't stress about trading him out. It'd be silly to trade him out early, and he gets another try against the Cowboys this week and does really well. So just think about him as someone that you shouldn't be trading out. And same with the guy named like Dame Laurie. Could almost be a keeper in our fullbacks. He's averaging 45, and that's coming off a low week too. He's up against the Cowboys, should do really well in that one. Hasn't had a real standout game yet, but that one will be coming up, you would imagine. Alvaro is our next one at 413k, who just picked up another 41 on the weekend, averaging 40 for the year. If he keeps that 40 average up, he's going to be at least 100 to 150k further undervalued over the next bunch of weeks. So keep him in your side if you can. Guys, if you're enjoying these, please hit like, hit subscribe. Really appreciate it, and we'll keep building this lovely channel. Spencer Leniu at 34 average, so a little bit more concerning. He's lost minutes in every one of his games, 38, 29, 27, and 24. And scores have ranged between the 41 mark and the 27 mark. So PPM still amazing at 1.03 over his career, but even higher in this year at about 1.2 across his games there. So for him, you're looking. Some people are looking to trade him out this week. I can understand that. If he keeps doing what he's doing now, he's probably going to peak around the 400, 410 mark. So not too much money to make from here. But if there happens to be an injury mid-game and he can get more minutes, his PPM's amazing. He's going to be able to do well. If there's an injury and he gets a chance next week to play some bigger minutes, then that's also great. So I feel like it'd be silly to trade him out now unless you have to, because there's a chance, you know, this is kind of where he's at now and it's only upside from here. So think of it that way with Spencer. Luke Brooks is one that's, you know, a lot of people are really opposing me on this one. I think they're sort of watching the game and seeing, you know, by the eye test, he's not doing amazing. Like the kick meters are down a little bit. But think round 3, kicked for 319 meters. So it's going to be changing back and forth with him and Dewey, just depending on, you know, which side they want to kick to and whatever else. But he's only had two lower games, 42 and 45. But if that's a half space around that 40 mark, you know, he's someone that runs the ball well, gets a bunch of kick meters, is tackling fairly well with only a few missed tackles. He's getting a lot of tackle breaks and offloads, and then the try assists are coming as well with no tries yet. So, you know, for him, I feel like he's definitely a hold over the next few weeks. Yes, people are trying to trade him up to Cleary, but I think, you know, it's probably worth just keeping him at this stage. He's playing the Cowboys this week. He could get a 75, and you'd hate it if you traded him out for Cleary, and Cleary got 60 as captain, and then Brooks got 75. Like, yes, you know, that might be 15% chance of happening, but it's still a chance, and I think you've got to keep him. But again, that's just my opinion. You do what you please. 557 for Mr. Christian Welch. Average of 46, coming off of 52, playing more minutes. So if he can keep those minutes up, then I think he's going to be a great one to keep and hit around that 50 mark with a PPM of 0.9 for his career. So well done to him this week, and I think he's definitely a hold. Tino 561. Now we're saying he's a hold. We were saying he's a hold / trade, and then he comes out and pumps out an 80. So definitely hold this week. A bunch of people trying to pick him back up again, and it's probably silly to do that after 1 week. If he can continue to do it over the next couple of weeks, he'll only get to 600 or just above if he scores 60 plus kind of thing, and then you can pick him up then if he's kind of turn the corner. But don't go too crazy trying to buy him at this stage or sell him. Brimo, 518k now. He's getting really low in terms of his price, which is amazing. He's someone, we'll talk about someone else in a sec named Campbell Graham, but losing all that money now, they become a really cool option because they've been a keeper when they've played in the past. You look at these games last year, amazing scores for him in the back end when Titans were doing well. And, they're beginning to do well again. And you look at their next bunch of games, it's Newcastle and Manly. Broncos are in there, Tigers are in there, and then the Bunnies. So 1 out of 5 games is tough. And for him, I think that is really cool. He's had one game where he's had real attacking stats and he got 47 and still only got, 5 tackle breaks for the season. Wait for a game that's going to happen like RTS where he just goes absolutely bonkers and then people are going to start bringing him in. So please hold him if you have him at this stage. I feel like a lot of people would have traded him out. He's only got 6% left. Tavita Pangai. All right, so he's obviously priced at around that 55, 56 mark, and that's what he's averaged so far. Obviously with the low game at 26, and you'd expect his minutes to go up this week playing at lock, and I'd definitely be giving him another chance. He scored, his PPM's been crazy, like way over 1, obviously, and that was a very small game for him with way less meters run, and hopefully he can improve that, even with Haas and Lodge back, but give him another chance for sure. Cami Munster, why are people trying to get rid of him? I have no idea. Priced at that, 54 kind of mark there, averaging 62 over the first 4 games. He's just come off an 81 and a 68, and people are trying to trade him. That's all I have to say. I have no more to say about that one, unfortunately. If you want to trade him out, be my guest. Silly. Alvaro is a hold this week. He has been named to start again. It looks like he had a possible ankle injury, is what has been said on NRL.com, but I haven't heard much about it since, other than that. But 2019 and 29, I think you just hold him, and if he starts playing well, great. If he doesn't, then he still stays the same price. He's break even's around 20, so someone you can easily hold. And if you're wanting to bring in a Sam Walker, I've seen a few Alvaro to Walker trades, for example. It's okay, but I feel like there's a better option out there to trade than Alvaro, especially when you can use him as center cover if he's going to keep his spot. So that's that one. Alex 12, people are talking about trading now. Everyone was trying to bring him in last week, and now we're trading him out. So he might have had a little bit of an issue. It's the talks are that he came reeling out of a tackle a few minutes before he came off, and then they just decided to keep him off instead and play Mbai some more minutes through the middle, and that makes a little bit more sense than him just getting one sin of 30 minutes. So PPM's great, should be back to his normal in the next week or two. So please keep him in your squad and play him. I already spoke about Laurie. Paulo. Junior, 702k. People are trying to get rid of him now. The roller coaster the fantasy is. Okay, 2 low scores in a row. All right, 2 big ones with tries, two with lower scores. So for him, I think you can hold another week. 2 good ones, 2 small ones. What if he comes out and gets 70 again? Then people are like, oh, we'll trade him in again. So don't do it. Owned by 7%. He's not a complete pod for you, so you're not gonna, if he struggles a little bit, you're not gonna have a shocking week. But if your low score's 39, you can cop that for these types of guys when they've got the upside of a 70 or a 60. Because he's got 56 average, and that's just above where he's priced. So I'd be keeping him at least for another week based on that. All right, Fogs. I have Fogs in my team. I think he's a hold at this stage. 614k. Obviously lost about 55 over the week with a 7. But 63, 34, and a 61 with no try assist so far. So that was an average of just over 50, which is completely okay. And when you can get 61 and 63 just in base stats, you're a pretty good player. So for him, had a bit of a tough one with some missed tackles and was obviously struggling with his quad over the weekend. So I think for him, you can definitely hold. And even if you don't want to play him this week and you want to play Walker or Alvaro or something over him, just in case he doesn't play, then that's fine. But I think 614k, people are going to start to target him rather than get him out. So keep him in your squad this week. Satili Tupeneur, 574k now. If you've had him from the start, then well done. He's averaged 46 for you, even with the 2. So don't stress too much. If you just bought him in last week, then unfortunate for you, but you have to keep him this week. You can't, if he's definitely going to be playing, you can't trade him in and then get him out straight away just because he had a head knock, right? People didn't do that. Well, people were trying to do that when Moses got his head knock and then he comes out and gets 60 odd the next week. So, very silly. Silly could come out and score a try for you this week and get 70 again, and then you are hating life. So there you go. Tupeneur, don't trade him. Smith, I think you can hold him this week. Probably one more week. There's a good chance that Grant doesn't play this week. He's named in 21. But for Smithy, should be able to still get some decent minutes again and score pretty well, close to that 50 mark. So if you are trading him to get in a Cleary or a Pappenhausen or something like that, then okay, fair enough. But I think if you don't have any pressing trades this week, then you should hold Smithy for one more week. Capewell, 548k, averaging in the mid-40s. No issues with that. 46 over the 4 weeks. Remember what I was talking about with him? Looks like up against the better teams, he should score pretty well because he makes more tackles, etc. So you got Canberra this week. At least hold him for this week. If you don't like him from there and he doesn't go as well, then you can trade him. But keep him for that game. Roger, 629k. Bit up and down, but when his base is sitting around that 30 mark, 33, 34, 44 with a couple of try assists, 88 going nuts. He's averaging 50 for the season. Hold him. You bought him at a price of 47. You can't sell him after that. So that's my thoughts on him. We go to Cam Murray, 704k. Someone you also have to keep this week. Played less minutes. Yes, it's 2 games in a row. He's played a little bit less minutes, but again, similar to that Junior Paulo, at least Murray has better pedigree and he has been a keeper for the last few years. Look at these kind of scores over 2020, 2019. Cracking scores when he came straight into the game and played big minutes in the middle. So yes, he got a few less minutes this week, but you should be seeing scores around that 50 to 55 mark from him going forward. And if he happens to play big minutes, if there's injuries around him, he's going to get around that 60 odd. So I wouldn't be stressing about him. You've bought him at around this price of 700k, 720k, and he's scoring exactly what he's priced at. He's a keeper, middle and edge. Hold him. And last one, we spoke about Farnworth briefly, but smart to do that again. He's out for 1 week. If you have cover, if you got Averillo there, if you brought in Opacek, if you brought in these kind of guys, use them this week. But Herbie has the potential to go big, right? He's got 33, 25, and 35 as his base scores, and then when he goes nuts and gets big run meters, try assists, line breaks, tries, he hasn't even got a try yet, right? So think about him. He's averaging 42 in the centers, can cover your wing fullback as well. I think is a really cool option to keep in your side, even though he's out this week, and then the following 2 will have Penrith and Para. After that, he's got the Titans and the Cowboys, so some slightly easier games there for him. And you even saw, the big game he had was against the Dogs, and fair enough. But if you can still get 33 against the Storm and 35 against the Eels, which are 2 good teams, and you're in the centers, you're doing fine. So please hold Herbie. All right, now we can relax, guys. This is the week to hold your trades, all right? Especially these types of guys. They're not worthy of trading out of your side this week or panic trading them to someone else. Hold still, hold steady, and have a good week. Good luck in round 5, guys. We'll see you in the next one.